Since I set up and tuned my Mathews TRX 38G2 for indoors, I've been enjoying shooting it a lot lately, but in today's video, I want to shoot 3 different style releases. I've got an Onnex clicker, a standard thumb button, and a hinge with a click. Plus I made a few different changes on the bow and I'm going to show you them on the video, but today I'm going to be shooting 3 different style releases just to kind of get a hang of them and to see if I prefer one of them over the other. So like I said there in the intro, I've been shooting my Mathews TRX 38G2 for a little bit here or there, and I recently set it up for indoors with some 2315 X7 arrows, and I'm really enjoying shooting them. I guess they're technically X23s, and I'm really enjoying shooting the actual bow. What I've been shooting is with this Onnex clicker here. It's a release that Joel Turner kind of came up with that Stan has released. And if you're not familiar with it, essentially there's not really a safety mechanism. It's like a pre-warning that the shot's about to fire. But the whole idea is to pull it back and then squeeze the button until you hear a click, and then it's a small amount left until it fires. And this has actually helped me massively work through my target panic, and I've shot hundreds and hundreds of arrows out of this bow, including my other Hoyt that I have as well, without punching it. And it's a massive win for me compared to what I was dealing with, and it's kind of helped remove a bit of that shot anticipation anxiety. What I was using previously was a mixture of these 2 releases here. The first one here is the True Ball Incredible, and it's a thumb button, and I have it set up kind of a little odd with a really long lever because I was driving it way back in the back, so I couldn't squeeze it with my thumb, right? To try to work around so I wouldn't hammer the release and punch it. So I want to play with that one in today's video a little bit too. And then on top of that, I always love shooting a hinge. You know, back tension. This one is the, what is this here? The HT Brass Pro. The HT Pro. I don't think True Ball makes this anymore. It's just a simple hinge. It's a simple back tension with a click. So that way, you know, you basically pull it back and then rotate it until it clicks. And then you give it a little bit more and you keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and eventually it should fire as a surprise. So I'm looking forward to playing with this one as well. I shoot Olympic style recurve, or have a lot, and I've heard of so many stories of people letting go of these things when they click. I luckily don't have that issue because I've shot the hinge with a click. Actually, before I started shooting recurve, I switched to that style of release long time ago when I was probably 12 years old. But I like shooting them, and I want to play with them here at 20 yards. I have a camera down range. I'm going to shoot on an NFAA 5 spot, the blue and white face, and so you'll be able to see the impacts the entire time. And I've also got some new stuff on the bow itself, and mostly it's just stabilizers. I swapped over to some Ramrod Beasts on the bow here. I've got the long rod 30-inch and a 15-inch side rod. I was shooting the Shrewd stabilizers on this bow before and it had the same weights, so I just took the weights off and threw the weights on these Ramrod bars, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. It should be pretty interesting to see if I notice any feel difference. And I swapped over also to the AAE gripper here on the actual, or I guess the gripper by AAE for the adjustable side rod. So I'm gonna have to play with that, get it a little dialed in here today. So I just actually bumped it and it moved because I don't have anything snugged down yet. So I'm just going to kind of tighten them up before I shoot the first few arrows. And I also swapped over to an Excel Achieve, which really isn't a big deal, but the main reason I did this is because I now have a really big dot in my lens here, as you can see. So this is going to cover probably almost all of the X-ring down there, so it should reduce a bit of aiming anxiety and worries there. So yeah, a few different changes, and that's the overview on the bow. Now I'm going to shoot a few shots here, get warmed up. I am in no way, shape, or form some sort of compound professional or anything like that. I just really enjoy shooting it, and so I'm just going to have some fun today here and take you along on my journey of playing with a bunch of different releases. So I'm going to go do the release that I know, the Onnex clicker first. Definitely feels different with these stabilizers on. Stuff's a little more snappy almost. It's not as soft feeling on the delivery. So interesting that I noticed a difference here. Definitely holds a little bit better, but my cant's a little off, so I gotta potentially bump the rod out to the left a little bit more. That was sitting right the whole time. Definitely fighting a cant, so I might as well make some adjustments right away. The bubble's sitting on, I gotta shoot one more shot to remember which way I need to actually torque it to get it to be level. Yeah. So the bubble's sitting on the left side, so I'm gonna bump the bar out to the left ever so slightly. That's better, much better. So I'm gonna shoot another end with this release. It is a cold floor today, and I don't think I'm actually ever gonna warm up today, but it's like a high of 50 or something like that today, which is quite cold considering North Florida. So like I was saying, I really like this release because it just takes away a little bit of that shot anticipation and has allowed me to have productive self-talk when at full draw. And like I said, it's just allowed me to kind of totally move past target panic with a compound, which I'm really happy to have happened, at least so far. The pin definitely sits much better with these stabilizers on. Still got the big movements in there, but the overall more, like, it's just sitting much better as a whole overall, but it still has big movements if I'm doing something funky in the bow. It's been forever since I've shot on a blue and white Phase 5 spot, and I really enjoy shooting on them. You can get a little lazy though, because that X is, you know, it's quite big, and the whole white is very large. Alright, so really happy with how the bow feels at the moment as far as stabilizer setup and all that concerned, and I am, you know, overall happy with how the Onnex clicker has been going. So I'm going to swap to, I don't know which one next, probably the other thumb button here, the Incredible. What's different about this one is obviously it's aluminum, so it's very light, but the head, it's rotated, so as I'm anchoring, it's actually got a straight shot at the D-loop. So I don't know if it's any different in draw length or anything like that. I have played with it a little bit, full disclosure. Same thing with the hinge release, but maybe I've shot like 3 to 5 shots with each, so we'll see how it goes without that warning click that the Onnex clicker gives. All right, this feels like a child's toy after shooting the heavy metal Onnex clicker, because I really like brass finger tabs, shooting them out of a recurve or with a recurve. So I like the brass weight of the release, and this thing's aluminum. It's like a toy. definitely different because there's no click telling me I'm close. And I think this is set a little hotter than the Onnex clicker. The Onnex is definitely a little heavier. Once you are ready to go set it off, it definitely is quite heavy, at least compared to this one. Oof. Didn't punch it, so that's a win. It was all over the place. It's one of those things that I don't know yet with my compound how I want to really set it off. You know, there's George Riles talking about relaxing the hand, and when you do, it naturally rotates the actual release, which pushes the thumb button more into your thumb if you keep that the same. Or pulling or squeezing or both or a combination of the three. There's just so many options on how to set these things off, and that's why my timing is relatively inconsistent from shot to shot, because I find that I'm just kind of experimenting overall because I don't know what I like and what I don't yet. That one was much quicker. Big surprise on that one. Whew. That dot sat really good. I really wanted it to fire, and then it did a little wiggle and settled back down, and then it fired, luckily. Whew. Definitely a little more anxious, only because I don't know when the thing's going to fire, because it is so sensitive and the feel of it's just so totally different. I do like the ability of really being able to rotate the release a little bit more, because it has a bit of a hinge on the actual mechanism itself. So it self-centers and I think reduces a bit of torque there. I don't know if any other release is doing that. It's just something I've had laying around, and I know it's an older model, but I do enjoy the features of that and rotating the head to get the hook parallel or perpendicular to the string. I'm gonna go shoot another end with that before playing with the hinge. Ooh, that was sitting low when it went off. On this one, I think I'm going to try the George Riles approach. Let's see how it goes. Definitely less tension in the release hand. No complaints on that one. Not bad. I think I'm gonna do one more end like that, a whole 5 arrows like that, because those two were actually a little easier for me to shoot, a little easier for me to execute, or the pin definitely sat better, and there was overall less tension in the system, therefore less anxiety, I suppose. It's very interesting with compound because there's just so many ways to execute. On recurve, there's really only one way. Well, I guess there's two ways: pull through the clicker or push through the clicker. I suppose you could pull and push, but there's never relaxing, that is for sure. There's just so many options and so many ways to actually shoot a compound with different types of execution, as far as if you're a command shooter, a puller, a relaxer, if you're pulling the cams off or the wheels off the thing, or you're just kind of relaxed against the stops. It's just very interesting and not common in recurve, because you just don't have that many options, because you still got to pull through the clicker. So again, it's like, I guess there's linear and angular, but there's still pull or push or both, but that's only it. There's not a relax, there's never a relax option. So I'm gonna play with that next end and see if it continues to be something that I actually enjoy. I'm trying to move the camera here so you can get a decent perspective as to what I'm doing, and maybe you see something funky, you can tell me, because I'm a recurve shooter, not a compound shooter. Oh, clearly my peep was loose. I was like, every time I clicked the arrow on the string, I could hear vibration. It was the peep aperture was loose in the housing. So weird. Very cool. Woo. Part of the challenge is how much preload of the thumb on the button before you say, okay, start to relax. These are all the little things that I think with practice, you know, you get into a routine, and with actual arrow volume, you nail down a system. So that's all the stuff that I'm definitely lacking. It sat great, and then just kind of headed low. It's definitely something very interesting. The feel is very interesting with the relaxation, so it's something to consider playing with for an extended period of time, and to see if that works out. It'd be very interesting to see how it works on the hinge too. But when it goes well, it goes really, really well, and there's very little anxiety, anticipation, and just overall, you know, shot anticipation type gremlins, right? And it's very enjoyable. So definitely something on the absolutely will continue to try to do. But next, I'm going to bring out the hinge with a click, shoot a few shots how I normally would with it, and then try a few of those relaxation style shots and see how they go. All right, we'll see how this goes. I have never released a let go with my hand, any release aid ever. It's baffling to me that there are recurve shooters out there that try to shoot these things and they go to let go of the release when it clicks. It's like you have to have clicker control on a recurve to begin with, and so the idea is when it clicks and you're not ready for the shot to break, like a recurve, you don't shoot it. So why would you have a problem with this thing? I don't know. Feels like it's a much shorter release, which I think it is, from the head, like where the hook is, to my index finger. It's a much shorter distance, so my hand feels further up on my face. I think the draw length feels better because it's shorter, but I like the hand position being further back on my face personally. Sitting good. Popped low right when it went off. I'm going to try relaxing on this one, see how it goes. Whew. Held that one a long time. I think if I could get comfortable with it, probably feel a little better. But I do like that. odd feeling my hands stretch out. I must start with way too much hand tension to begin with. Feels like maybe it's set a little cold and it should be adjusted a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna leave it right there for now, because I do feel like I have to really rotate it to get it to click, and then I'm almost to the point of where it just feels like I'm parallel with my hand like this by the time it goes off. But it's still a lot of fun, so I'm gonna shoot another end. It's like, do I want to keep pulling while I'm relaxing or just hold the tension against the wall and relax? I don't know which way's best. I think just hold tension against the wall and relax. Don't add too much going on, too much movement. Yeah. Oof, that was drifting left when it went off. I'm gonna shoot one more end like that. I do like the relaxing without pulling more. It's just, yeah, something so new, so different. Didn't quite relax a lot on that one. I kind of just rolled the hand a little bit to fire it, I guess. Like a combination of relaxing the index and just kind of rolling a little. I don't know if compound breathing cycles are like recurve. With recurve, we hold our breath at full draw. I feel like I'm running out of air holding so long. That was better. I didn't hold it the whole time I got to anchor. Once I got to anchor, I only held it after I was kind of ready to start executing. Sat a little low. All right, well, next end I think I'm going to shoot the Onnex clicker again and see if I can do a relaxation style that way. What I do know is I definitely prefer the brass, the heavy weight, over the aluminum releases. It's like the only thing I'm actually sure of. It's amazing how much sun in your face changes the perceived peep size. I can't see the outside of my housing when the sun's like this in my face. It makes the peep opening look smaller. Yeah, it just feels good. All around. It's all a lot of fun. Sorry about the lighting. I'm just gonna get my head in the shade here. I'm gonna shoot one more end here with the clicker. I think this feels most comfortable when I'm anchored, but it's because I've shot the most arrows with it and I found the best feeling anchor position with it. I think with a little bit of time, the others would definitely feel as comfortable. That's a little low. Drifted low right when it went off. Get up. All right, I'm gonna take you down there and we'll talk about which release I prefer, or at least which parts of each release I prefer and why. I don't know how many ends I shot there, but I think it was a decent amount of arrows, and I think I only missed 2 X's the entire time, which I'm very, very happy with. I definitely wish they were all inside out, of course, but all things considered, swapping around with 3 different releases, right? I've got a regular thumb button, a hinge with a click, and a clicker release, meaning, you know, it's still a thumb button, but it's got a pre-warning click on it. I guess it's a little challenging to shoot 3 different releases with also many different styles of actual shooting, but using 3 different releases and still only missing 2 X's the whole time, I'm very, very happy with that and super satisfied. I like each individual release for different reasons. The release that I like the least is the Incredible, actually. It's just so light. I wish it was brass or heavier, but the thing that I do like about it possibly the most is where the thumb button is. I really like it where it's out far away like this. I have relatively large hands, and you know, I wear XL gloves, and this large Onnex, you know, the button's just far up and it feels like it's kind of cramped. I do like how kind of stretched out I can get with this release personally, especially because then I can really lay into it and I don't feel like I'm, I don't know, twisting the D loop like crazy or shooting like a Jeff Hopkins where he's like way back like that with the stand clicker. But otherwise, I still like it, and I do like that it's a little hotter. It's just different. But the weight of it, I wish it was just heavier, but it's still a lot of fun to shoot, and it's still something that I do enjoy shooting. I don't know if I have a favorite one of the 3. I've shot this one the most, obviously, the stand Onnex clicker, and I love the weight of it. I like how the head is a little bit further out and a little bit longer than the hinge. Personally, it's just, I feel like I'm a little crunched up on the button, so maybe I can just change the angle of where the button's located and eliminate that and maybe make it a little hotter, and I might like it a lot better. But it's still super enjoyable for me to shoot, and I love that there's a place for the pinky to kind of sit on the side on that, I don't know, is that a whale tail or something? But it sits like that. It's a nice feature because it gets to, you get to put your pinky somewhere, because I could feel sometimes shooting this hinge, I was doing different funky things with the pinky tension but there's nowhere to put it. So it's kind of funky to just have it floating in space, especially because on recurve, I'm always touching my thumb with it when I am in my hook and at full draw. So it always has a place to go. When it's just kind of sitting, it's a little odd. But the hinge with the click, I do like it a lot. It's the shortest from the hook, I believe, to the index finger. So it feels like it's a little bit crunched up on my face, which doesn't make it as comfortable as, say, the Onnex release. It's just not as... I'm not as comfortable with it. I probably could get there with some practice. Like I said, I think of all of the releases, I've shot the Onnex, the stand, 1,000,000 times compared to the other two. So I imagine I would get into a comfortable position with some time with this hinge release. And I know that stand makes a hinge version of that same release body. And that might be probably the best solution for me. But this is just something I've had forever. And I do play with it from time to time, and I enjoy shooting it. It's just so different. Of the three, this is the most different, obviously. But I do like being able to relax through the shot. No matter what release I was shooting, playing with that George Wiles type of technique of get into anchor, flatten the back of your hand as much as you can, and then just relax the hand and it'll fire on its own. Because you are letting the hand naturally, like the index finger kind of relaxes and lengthens the most as you're relaxing, and that's what rotates the release to set it off, both the thumb button as well as the hinge. And I like the idea of the relaxation, but I was experimenting a lot with relaxing and pulling at the same time, and that was just too much movement for this. It was moving the dot all over the place, and I realized that just hitting anchor and then relaxing the hand after it clicks with maintaining tension against that wall made it so much better and made the sight pin infinitely more steady. And then the next thing that I definitely played with at the end was breathing. Breathing cycle for recurve is, kind of in, out, in, gently out, and then in as you're holding it to execute. At least that's the method that I use. And so what I did and found was I was hitting my anchor with the release and holding my breath the whole time. Even if I was working to get to the click or working to get to the click, I was holding that whole time and then holding the entire time of execution, which by then I was running out of gas. I'm sure you heard me breathing because I was running out of air. So what I found was to kind of breathe normally, get back to anchor, breathe out as I'm rolling to the click or squeezing to the click, and then a gentle breath in as I'm really committing to execution, and then hold it as I'm executing until the shot fired. And the shot actually broke faster that way with less anxiety and more control, and I could breathe at the end. I didn't feel like I was running out of oxygen. So I wasn't actually running out of oxygen, but my body wanted to breathe, even though I was holding my breath to maintain, my steady sight picture as much as possible. So I don't know if you enjoy this at all, but I do. I enjoy playing with the compound. I enjoy playing with different releases and experimenting to try to find stuff that I like. And I definitely found that my breathing technique is really important for me to feel like I'm not running out of gas and to maintain a good sight picture and not adding too much pressure against the wall, but relaxing at the same time and all sorts of different things. So let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you think that one of these releases looked better in my hand, that I shot better, looked more steady, less anxious or something. I'd be curious to know some third-party feedback, somebody thinking that one release is better than the other. You might have your own personal preferences on releases, but do you think that any of them I shot better with or looked better with as far as control? And also, if you do like these kinds of videos or not, where I'm kind of experimenting and learning on my own and sharing that journey with you. I know it's compound. Normally I do single string stuff on this channel, especially a lot of recurve stuff, Olympic recurve stuff, because that's my specialty. But I love shooting all types of archery, and playing with a compound here at 20 yards on a blue and white face is enjoyable. It's just really fun to shoot. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to watch, but if you do enjoy it, let me know down below. And also, if you did enjoy the video, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscription button and the notification bell down below. Check out the many different links down in the description below on many different ways you can help support the channel. And remember, we're currently running the Backyard Archery Championships here for Kaminsky Archery, where archers from around the world are currently competing. And if you enter into the tournament, you also are entering into a giveaway for a dozen Easton X10 Parallel Pro 3.2 millimeter arrows with tungsten points and your choice of spine as well as weight of point. And so if you're interested, all of that information is down in the description below. I can't thank my supporters enough. Without you, I wouldn't be able to produce this content. Thanks again. Take care.